What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Coach Cam from Giving It a Try here with another quick weekly athlete talk. Again, something that's maybe 10-15 minutes long, just a sum of different conversations or things I've read throughout the week with amongst the athletes that I coach. This is mainly for the coached athletes, but again, I usually keep most of them public so I can help out as many people as possible. You might have missed me last week, and a couple of you reached out. It's all right. I'm here. We only missed 1 week this year so far. I think we're doing pretty good. As you know, if you've been following along on some of my other videos on the YouTube channel, I've been building or was building towards one of my A races for the year, which was the Shore to Shore 50K race, a race that I've done a few times before. This is kind of just another one of these benchmark races, how I like to kind of test myself year after year at the same type of event to kind of see where we're at. Unfortunately, leading into that, again, the full-length podcast came out today, actually, with Coach Ryan. He was back on to discuss our Shore to Shore 50K event. I got sick leading into the race that week. It was close within a day or two of, being able to do the race. But last minute, I said, you know what? We're going to start the race. I was kind of on the tail end of things and then worked through it that day. So it wasn't, I guess, my peak performance, but I was able to finish, did pretty well overall for the circumstances. And this actually brings up one of the topics tonight, and that's sickness in training, sickness in racing. And really, how do we deal with that? It's really an individual approach. Everybody handles and can know how their body is going to react to certain things. Looking back on it now, do I say, was it smart for me to race in the condition that I was in? If it was 24 hours prior, I don't think it would have been a smart idea, but it kind of just lined up where I definitely think if I didn't line up on the start line, that I would have definitely regretted it in the long run. So I took all the safety precautions I could that day and got out there. It was an open, trail race, and we got it done. So with training, though, the difference is, things come up. A bunch of red pops up on a Training Peaks. You get a little like, hey, coach, I was sick this week. Kids got me sick, whatever it is. It's all right. If it's a base building time early on in a plan, typically we can usually just, hey, time out, let's pause, let's reassess, let's ease back in. We don't have to, if you had and just say an hour run as your next workout, we don't even have to hit the hour metric. Let's just get out there and get our feet started, see how we feel. We complete a half hour, 45 minutes, you start to get a little fatigued, end it. We don't want to dig deeper into the hole that we're already in. We're just kind of climbing out of it. So it's an individual approach, but don't stress it. That's really the big part of it is, if we start to miss some of those bigger metric workouts deeper into a plan, like say deep into a marathon plan, 18 mile, 20 miler, or a half Ironman plan where we had this big bike ride that we missed for that weekend, we'll have to reassess and adjust. Maybe we're not going to make the next big jump next week. Maybe we're going to take a small step back. It's just a little blip on the radar, but that approach will usually yield better results than if you just hammer through, say, whatever it is, I'll skip last week and I'm just going to get back into where I was supposed to be, because everything is building through it, and you missed a step, and it wasn't that you just decided to miss a step because you had something to do or didn't feel like training. It was because your body was run down and fighting something, which is almost more stressful internally than it would have been if you trained for that week. So chances are you have a lot of fatigue, and not the good fatigue that we're looking for to build fitness leading into that. So we do want to curtail that, bring our cortisol levels down on all ends, and just kind of get back into the swing of things, get that consistency back, start checking some boxes so that we can roll. And that's why it's more important as we're deeper into a plan, why I'm more kind of intimately matched with your plan and you with your training closer to race day than earlier on in the plan, is because we really have to plan with those things as they come through. If it's really early on base building, it's just like, hey, you missed 3 days, no problem. Just head back out there, do what you can, work up until you feel like, there's some fatigue building in the workout, and then just end it and call it. And then just probably within a day or two or a workout or two, you'll start to feel back to where you need to be, and you'll be able to hammer through with it. Myself, having an A race, a long course distance race, and racing through that, and unfortunately, this is like the second time I've had to do this on an A race. The problem is, it on the back end of it, it definitely really, you dig yourself into a pretty deep hole on race day, and it takes a little more, like this time I really trusted the recovery behind it. And I said, well, why am I going to jump back in right away? It's easy to, again, you got to check the ego. You're seeing what people are doing the day after the race, 2 days after the race, putting up these big workouts again. It's like, do what you need to do, stay in your lane, and get done what you need to get done in order to stay healthy and progress forward without injury, and become just resilient in the fact that you can bounce back and be okay to take some extra days off, especially if it's just after an event. Like, you earned it. Like take a chill for a little bit and then get back into it. This actually was another portion of something I wanted to, so I can tie it into this part, was making up workouts or playing catch up, because this rolls into that as well, where, say, I don't know, something came up with the family over the weekend. You're like, you weren't sick, so you weren't like fatigued on that level where you were missing workouts, but you just had other things going on, or you just were like, I don't feel like it today, and you went and did something else or played around in golf. And then you come back and say, well, I missed my long stuff on the weekend. Now it's Monday. Can I make up those workouts? That's a slippery slope, because now you're consolidating. Like, when's your next long stuff after this? Did we push what we typically do on Saturday to Monday, and then we have to do it again this coming Saturday? And maybe something's coming up on Saturday, so you wanted to get it in on Friday. Now you start to see how things just start to get all like crazy and jumbled. So do it the best you can. And what I always say, if you know you have a busy week coming up, like, plan well ahead. And if it's not available in your Training Peaks or your calendar, because it's like an event you have 4 to 6 weeks out, reach out and be like, hey, what do you think I have mileage with? Where am I going to be at that weekend, so I can kind of start to figure this out? Maybe we can always switch where a deload week, recovery week is, to the week you wanted to go away, if it was within, a 7-day period, just to line up your training better. It's better than last minute when you're like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm going away this weekend, and I had a bunch of long stuff to do, and now it's your problem and you figure it out. So we got to work together on that and make sure that, we're hitting the stuff, especially if you want to be kind of serious about your training. And, if you're very consistent with it, then we want to make sure that you're definitely checking all the boxes, crossing your T's, dotting your I's along the way, and really getting the best bang for your buck out of training with that. So again, I don't really like to play catch up. If it's with the big metrics, it's a number we had to kind of hit on a long run or a long bike, we'll have to kind of modify that and try and fit it in. But if you miss a midweek run or midweek bike during a triathlon plan, it's really nothing to be concerned about. Just move on, just continue on. It's fine. Chances are you probably missed that workout because you had something going on. It wasn't like you were just sitting on the couch all day. And guess what? If you did, it's probably because maybe you needed a rest day or something. So please, don't worry about that. Don't worry about playing catch up. I know people love having their calendars all green, but it's cool if something has to come up from time to time. And when you start to learn that that's okay, that's another progression in this whole process of things. With that, just again, touching on sleep, recovery. If you are training consistently and hitting the intensity and the volume that is slated for you in your plan, and you are getting the sleep you need and the quality you need, you're recovering properly, and you're fueling, you're eating well. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you're eating well and you're fueling your workouts in and around those well. You're going to be unstoppable. Like, that's the whole shebang right there, is being able to curtail all of that. Again, like I say, these big block things outside of training that you can put in the most consistent training you want, hitting all the volume and the intensity that we need to hit. But if I'm telling you, if you're sleeping like crap, you're not paying attention to it, you're just loafing around all night and wasting hours when you should be sleeping and recovering, and you're making a lot of bad decisions in your diet. Again, we're not perfect. We don't want this to be so regimented where you can't enjoy yourself. And if you're just super stressed all the time, you can't, help that part of your life, and you're just a very high stress person, like, start working on those things. If I can tell you right now, if some people paid enough attention to those things as they did their training calendar, you would break through so many plateaus. It would be unbelievable. Moving on to the next couple things here is recovery after an A race versus a B race. And that's why it's important to understand what races are on the calendar. A lot of people right now put a lot of different run races on the calendar. A bunch of people doing a bunch of half marathons, some back to back, a few weekends apart. Some people are racing every weekend. You really need to, it's nice to go hard all the time, push yourself, see what you can do. But there becomes a point when it's too many on the calendar. You just can't replicate the performance weekend after weekend. So you have to start to say, all right, I'm really shooting for this race. I want to see what I can do here. These races leading up to it, we have to label them as B races and really handle them as B races. And I know from time to time, what may happen when you go out there is your B race turns into an A race. You go out there with a certain pacing plan. Maybe it's like an 85% of max effort. You start to feel good, and then all of a sudden, you're kicking after a PR or something like that on the back end of the course. Again, from time to time, that's fine, but we also just want, again, understand what is our priorities, racing, and what are the things that are just good experiences, good start line experience, good pacing plan experience, practicing fueling on race day, things like that. And again, the quote, racing is disruptive to the training process. I say it all the time. It's part of the 80-20 course. And what they talk about is racing is good in certain aspects leading up to your A race if things are kind of working along with your plan as far as building with it, like you're up to that distance and that's something you want to test yourself at. But when it's a repetitive, not really in the plan distance, overshooting maybe what we should be doing a couple weekends after weekends leading in this plan, it's unfortunately going to disrupt your training process because there is some fatigue aspects of it. If it's, you're going into these fatigue, there's a chance of injury. There's a lot of things that might play out in there. So that's just something to be to think about is when you're really planning out and you sign up for these races, just understand like, hey, what's our goal and what's our focus on, then try and stick with them when we show up to that start line. Cause I know those start lines can get, they get you amped up a little bit. Another little thing that I wanted to touch on is this right here that I heard. Don't let the highs get too high and the lows get too low. We all have them. And it's a part of this endurance journey is some days, some races, some efforts, some training blocks where we feel like we're superhuman. Like we're just hitting everything. We're feeling great. We're sleeping well. It's all great. Just don't ever let that moment or that one race, that one PR that you had keep you way up here. Just don't let that high moment of just be too high. Just enjoy it. Understand that I'm feeling good right now, but everything cycles and everything balances. So the higher you get, the chances are you're going to balance off at some point into a low point. More so on the other side of things is if you get into a rough patch, work gets a little crazy, family gets a little crazy, you get sick, something pops up, you were so consistent and you started falling off, or you have a race performance, even if it's something you trained 100% for, and we knew you were going to match some certain goal and you missed it, that's going to bring you possibly to a low point. Learn from that point, but don't stay down there. It's a bad place to be. Reach out. We'll talk through it. We'll get you back to, just that common denominator right there, that middle ground, and progress again and hopefully hit some of those high points. It's just a crappy place to be. And again, it's just something to be aware of. Be aware that that's natural. That's okay. And again, just as you have that low moment, we're going to build you back to one of those high moments that you're really going to appreciate down the road. So again, don't let your highs get too high, and definitely don't let your lows get too low, because when that happens, just zoom out, look back, look at all the things you've done from the beginning. Even if it was just months of solid, consistent training, you had a race day, it went to shit. It's fine. Reassess, evaluate, learn from it, move forward, and that's the name of the game right there. I think that's just about everything that I have for tonight. Again, just wanted to show face. Some of you reached out and wanted to make sure the videos were coming. It was just a busy weekend, a lot of family stuff. Feeling like myself after last week's race and just getting back to it. For myself, for Coach, I have a half marathon coming up this weekend. It's Long Island Marathon weekend. I can't wait to be out there because, again, it's so many local faces out there that are going to be doing the half and the full, as well as some of the coached athletes. So that's going to be fun. I do have a goal I'm going for, but it's quite all right if things go differently that day. I'm just going to take it for what's worth and really enjoy myself that day. Really enjoy laying it all out there on the course and just seeing what I'm capable of that day. So for now, I just want everybody to stay safe, stay healthy, keep balancing that life 1 mile at a time, and I will catch you all on the next one.